Today, we are diving right into the gritty, cobblestone streets of Charles Dickens' iconic 1837 novel, Oliver Twist. We're going to bring this whole Victorian world to life, unpack the gripping mystery, meet some incredibly unforgettable characters, and really dig into the deeper social message that makes this classic stick with us even today.
So let's set the stage. We're starting with a massive, really profound question that pulls us straight into the dangerous, poverty-stricken streets of London. Seriously, what happens to a completely innocent orphan who's born into brutal poverty, raised in a cold, unforming workhouse, and then just tossed out into the criminal underworld? Dickens doesn't just tell us. He literally forces us to live this reality alongside Oliver.
All right, let's get into it. Chapter 1, The Tale. Okay, let's rapidly trace Oliver's absolutely frantic journey. It all starts at year 0 with his birth in a miserable workhouse where, you probably know the famous scene, his desperate plea for just a little more food ends in severe punishment. Unable to take the abuse after being set off as an undertaker's apprentice, he actually escapes to London. But out of the frying pan and into the fire, right? He almost immediately falls in with the artful Dodger and Fagin's gang of child thieves. A quick glimmer of hope pops up when he's wrongly arrested and then saved by the very kind Mr. Brownlow, but Fagin's gang violently drags him right back. Finally, after a completely botched burglary attempt, the Maylie family rescues him. And that's where the big twist hits. His true, wealthy identity is revealed, and he finally gets the loving home he always deserved. Moving right along to the cast of characters. Chapter 2, The Players.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Dickens brilliantly sets up this stark contrast between kind-hearted protectors and incredibly violent exploiters. On the side of innocence and compassion, we've got Oliver, the generous Mr. Brownlow, Rose, and crucially, Nancy. Nancy is such a fascinating character because despite her deep criminal ties, she bravely risks her own life to help Oliver. Now, against them stand the figures of pure exploitation and brutality. You've got the gang leader Fagin, the street-smart artful Dodger, the terrifyingly violent Bill Sikes, and the scheming monks. It is a literal battle of good versus evil playing out on the streets.
Let's slow down just a second and look under the hood. Chapter 3, The Deeper Meaning. Dickens isn't just writing a crime thriller here. He uses these super heavy themes to put us directly inside the lived experience of the vulnerable. He's exploring crushing poverty and social inequality, showing exactly how the poor are treated as if they have less value. He shines a harsh light on the horrific reality of child exploitation. And through Oliver's chaotic search for identity, the novel navigates the whole mystery of family and proves the ultimate power of compassion to completely change a person's life. Ultimately, when you boil it all down, this novel is an incredibly powerful criticism of a society that allows children to suffer simply because they're born poor. Dickens wanted to expose the very real, devastating human cost of 19th century institutions utterly and completely failing to protect their youth.
So, where do we land today? Let's check out Chapter 4, The Verdict.
Look, when we evaluate any classic, we have to impartially weigh its merits against its flaws. On the strength side, the novel boasts some of the most memorable characters in literature, excellent suspense, and a really strong emotional core. It pulls at your heartstrings for sure. But on the flip side, it can definitely feel a bit old-fashioned today. It relies pretty heavily on extreme coincidences and exaggerated melodrama. Plus, and this is absolutely crucial to note, there are deeply rooted anti-Semitic stereotypes in the characterization of Fagin that reflect the prejudices of that era. This stands as a major, notable weakness in the text that modern readers really need to critically examine. So, culminating all these factors, the social criticism, the mystery, the crime, and the intense human drama, this enduring story earns a highly respectable 9 out of 10. If you enjoy classic literature with characters that practically leap right off the page, it is absolutely still worth your time. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Can poverty ever justify treating someone as less human? It's a heavy question, I know, but it proves exactly why the story of Oliver Twist remains undeniably relevant to us today.